Hey guys, it is box day and I finally got my NECA Godzilla 1962. I thought it wasn't gonna come in this month because it took so long. It took almost 1 month and I got it with fast shipping, but for some reason, shipping is always super slow to me. People always come and knock, and I don't know why, but I can never be on time, or I just don't hear when people knock because, like, I'm underground, like in the type of bunker type of apartment. So it is kind of weird when the mail guy comes. I don't even hear anything. He comes super early, like around 6, 7 o'clock. But of course, I'm super excited to do a cool edit later on. This is going to be part one, and I'll do a cool edit later on. We finally have the brand new box that NECA promised us, which looks fantastic. I gotta say, I do enjoy this artwork with Godzilla, the background with black and red, and all that with Kong. So I wonder if NECA is planning to do a Kong in the near future and all that. But so far, my first reactions to this was wow, the box feels really good. It's kind of heavy, it has a weight to it. Now, when you do open it, it has like a window type of box. It has like a little type of sticker that you just open and close. And it looks really, really good. I do like that. So this is where you open it from right here. As you guys can see, you just open it and that's it. It reveals the figure in a window box. And you get like a little nice picture of the 62 with the volcano. It looks really, really good. Now, I know I told you guys, a lot of you guys asked me if I'm getting this figure, and I said no, but I ended up getting it because it's a brand new figure. Now, something weird that I noticed. Do you guys see that? It looks like my figure is kind of wet, or it has like oil on the window type of display. So I don't know what's up with that. If that's oil, if that's water. I hope my figure is okay, and I hope I don't get a derpy, crappy figure. But so far, the reviews that I have seen have been fantastic for this figure. Of course, King Kong versus Godzilla, the logo. Now, a tip that I want to give you guys: when you get this figure, use a hair dryer or blow dryer, whatever you guys call it, to make the ball joints even loose and have better articulation. Another method that you guys can use is grab your figure, put it on hot water, not super, super hot because it will melt. The temperature has to be in between enough where your hands can take it, Put it on hot water, leave it there for 5 to 10 minutes or even less, and your ball joints should be ready to go. That way you don't actually break your ball joint or anything like that. And I gotta say, this is a very beautiful figure in all his rights. NECA has undone themselves again. I think they did a really good job with his eyes. They're not derpy, they're looking straight forward. His teeth look perfectly fine. His nails, you guys can already see I got a very, very messy, I believe, right arm slash hand slash claws. The left one is fantastic. The overall details, I think this one has more details than any other NECA figure that we have ever seen from all of their Godzilla figures. It has to be on top for sure. I think the first best figure out there is the 2014 12-inch. This one feels very heavy. It's much bulkier, bigger than the GMK. The GMK felt bigger, but this one right here is beyond amazing. It feels like a 12-inch figure from his tail for some reason, and I love it. I think the addition of adding a brand new effect is fantastic. It's not a reuse or a remold of the GMK. It is new. You guys can see the brand new mold and all that. It looks fantastic. The paint job and all of that. I think this is a top tier figure for sure from all their figures. It has brand new articulation on the tail, something unique we haven't seen. And that's the reason that I got this figure, because as you guys told me, you guys asked me if I'm getting this figure, and I said no. But I was like, I have to get it. Number one, it's finally the first figure featuring a brand new box. A brand new box, artwork, and all that. And it looks fantastic. I cannot skip on this. Second of all, it has an effect. It has a brand new articulation on his tail. And this is the effect. It looks very, very beautiful. It has a translucent white with the brush type of gray to white tone to it, and it makes it look very beautiful. You get more details popping out with the light and all that. So I hope this gives you guys an idea of how the effect looks. That way you do know that this is not a remote effect from the GNK. I will be doing a comparison later on for that, and I hope you guys do enjoy that. But honestly, this figure has blown me out of the window. I think NECA, what am I saying? NECA has done a fantastic job. And you also, inside the box, once you open it, you get like a background. It's a volcano background, and you can use that to display your figure if you want. Maybe hang it on the wall, or use like a cool background for any other figure that you have. It looks fantastic. So right here, I'm giving you guys a 360 view with the effect and the figure itself. Fantastic. I think this figure deserves a 9 out of 1 from 10 review. It is close to being perfect for sure. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Ruby Gaming X, and today I will be reviewing the NECA Godzilla 1962. Now, NECA has finally changed their boxes, because before we used to get plastic type of boxes, and they finally went with cardboard with a beautiful design with the Japanese poster, and it looks really good. I'm very glad that NECA finally has the rights to do boxes versus the old style that we used to get before. And this of course looks very beautiful. I'm a really big fan of this because it has black and red, and you guys know that I really love red. And if you guys open it, it looks really beautiful from the inside. You have an image of Godzilla right here in the background with a volcano. You have the window box right here. And it has a little, type of sticker. I forgot what this is called, but you can pretty much close it and open it like a book, which is very good. The top of the box, it says King Kong versus Godzilla. And the background, the front, it looks very beautiful. The side too. Now this Godzilla does feature an atomic blast or an atomic heat ray, whatever you want to call it. So that's really good. I'm very glad. Actually, when I got this, I was very surprised because the box was kind of heavy, of course, because of the figure. And inside the box, you do get like a background of the volcano, which you can use to display your Godzilla if you want to. And that's always good, which I have mine right here display with mine. And it's really good to see that NECA finally has more freedom to do more figures with boxes and all that with their own designs. And to take a look at this figure, well of course it fell off because I didn't have the effect in the right place, but something to say that this figure is very heavy, much bigger than some of their NECA figures from the past. I gotta say that this figure feels very good in hands, in your hands and all that, and the details are superb. I gotta say that I really do enjoy all the details that they put into this figure. It looks really fantastic. You can see all the small details that they put into this figure. The spikes, they're done really well. I don't see any paint problems. I know a lot of people had problems with his face. I believe Demon, he had like red type of cheeks around, so his left and right side I believe had like pink type of cheeks and all that. So for mine, he's perfectly fine. I have no problems. For his mouth, it's perfectly fine. His teeth are really good. Now I do have a few flaws that, I might not have the flaws that other people have, but I do have brand new flaws that I have picked up on my figure that I haven't seen before with other reviews and all that, which I will get into this video. First of all, I gotta say that I'm not really a big fan of this design, but I decided to pick it up because, why not have another classic Godzilla, and especially because this is NECA's first time doing a classic Godzilla with a brand new box design. So it's something fresh, and I wanted to experience this for myself. So I gave it a shot, and I'm not disappointed at all. I think this is a very good figure for the articulation. It has a lot of articulation, better articulation than the figures in the past, as you guys can already tell. Hold on guys, let me get a better So previously what we had with them at the beginning of the year was like bendy wired, and they definitely changed that because with 2014 you guys can see right here a comparison with their tails and all that. You can see the 2014 went with the bendy wire and it doesn't look that bad, but it is kind of bad over time because it starts to bend and the wire could come out. But you guys can see like the difference. This is bendy wire, it doesn't have that much articulation. Now with Shin Godzilla, they wanted to do something like the SH Monster Arts, but it obviously failed. This one is using a different mechanic than this one that we have right here. As you guys can see, it didn't really work out that well for poses. The tail would fall. So this to me was a failure, and I do appreciate NECA attempting to do different methods with their tails. Now for GMK, they went back with the bendy wire and some type of articulation, but as you guys can see, the tails are no way, they're not near the same length. You guys can see that the GMK has a much thin, shorter tail than the 62 right here, and the 62, it is definitely an improvement from all of their NECA figures so far. I think the bendy wire with the articulation kind of did work over the Shin Godzilla, I meant to say, but you end up with a very thin, unarticulated tail. Now with this one right here, this is fully articulated. You guys can see there's a massive difference when it comes to articulation with all of their previous figures that they have done. I think this is their best figure with articulation in their tail. I think this is the perfect method. I think from all their figures, they were trying to find that right spot to hit with all their figures when it comes down to articulation on their tail, and they finally found the perfect articulation for this Godzilla and their figures. I think it works really well. This reminds me of their or should I say the SH Monster Arts articulation, which is very good. It in fact feels a little bit better than the SH Monster Arts because it can actually hold any type of pose that you guys put them in, which is surprising. I really don't understand why NECA never did this with their previous figures. I also noticed, if you guys let me bring my other figures right now. Oh, sorry about that. So I also noticed that, hold on guys, there's a big difference when it comes to tail size. You guys can see the size is massive. Obviously this one is much thicker, longer in every single way than the GMK. You guys can see how thin it is versus this. This feels like a 12-inch figure tail. This feels like a much 4-inch, I don't know, but this doesn't look good. It's alright, but it's not the best. Now when you compare that tail to the Shin Godzilla, obviously Shin Godzilla has a very long tail, but it's not perfect. You guys can see the multiple ball joints divided, and parts did not work very well with them, and I think this is the perfect way versus this or the GMK. The other way that I think kind of worked for them was with their NECA Godzilla 2014, but still having ball joints like this is okay, and then this, it kind of worked, but as I told you, over time it could get, you know, it could break from the figure, and I think this is much better. So I do like that improvement overall. Now here's the problem that mine has over other figures that I have never seen. As you guys can probably tell, I'm not sure if you guys picked that up already or not, but just take a closer look at this right here. For this hand, his claws or his nails are much sharper. They feel sharp, and for some reason his hands from this one right here, they seem unsharp, almost melted. For some reason his hand seems to be like melted, like almost like if his fingers got deformed, they're kind of stuck, where this one has every single finger separated, and claw or fingernails, whatever, they're super sharp. If I do this, I can feel how sharp they are. If I do this, they feel melted and very soft. another thing that I picked up on my figure is this. I don't know if you guys can see that, but hold on, guys. I'm trying to do my best to show you guys. I don't think you guys can pick it up. Hold on, I'm trying to do my best right here, but okay. So for this part of the skin of Godzilla, or part of the plastic, actually chipped off. It's kind of broken. You guys can see, like right here, it's broken. It's missing some type of skin, and I don't know why that is. So that is some very, very bad on their side, because the quality is not that good for mine. I'm missing skin, plastic, whatever you want to call it, and you guys can see how bad this looks. His fingers just look deformed versus his other hand looks very, very perfect. So that is a complaint that I have with mine, that it's not that perfect as you guys would think it is. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this time around. So this is what I'm talking about. For some reason, it appears that my figure was accidentally cut by something or some type of machine, because it's missing plastic right here. It has a very, very deep cut going all the way inside. Now the other thing, you guys can see how his fingernails are not correctly straight. They are deformed. They look melted. They're not sharp. Just compare this to this right here. They're super sharp. They're well designed. And I'm not saying that this is all the figures like that, because every single figure is going to be different. Like D-Man and other people, they had pink cheeks right here. They had red paint on top of his head. Some people had white paint. Some people had a shiny figure. So for every single figure, it's going to be different. You guys might get a perfect figure. Some people might get a worse figure. Some people might get a figure without no head, which I have seen. And here's the thing. If you're going to pick this from online, it's more risky. It's more expensive. I would recommend you to go to a store and actually check it out for yourself, like Target. Open the box from the window. Check if the paint job is okay. And if it is, if you do like that one figure, if you compare every single figure, let's say you see like 3 or 5 figures, open them up and take a closer look at them. Expect them and see which figure is the best, which figure has the best paint job, which figure has his dorsal plates correctly, and choose the best one from all of them, and you'll be happy. I think it's worth it for your money, and it's cheaper if you pick it up in a store versus online. Online, you have to pay for shipping and all that. Now, of course, when it comes to articulation, this figure does have a lot of articulation, but the ball joints are very, very hard and they're fresh, so expect them to be stiff and all that. So good luck with that. The best method that you could do right now is put it in hot water, leave it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes for the ball joints to get soft and all that. If they don't get soft enough, you can pull up a hair dryer. Don't put it super close, because if you do it super close, the chances is you'll melt your figure, you'll damage your figure, or the ball joints might get super loose. So do it from a distance like that and let it overheat for a few seconds, like 1 minute on one side, 1 minute in the other side, and all that. So for articulation, his head does move around. You guys, yeah. It's really good. It's not that bad, honestly. And something that I was surprised is that he can actually look up very, very, very high. I wasn't expecting that. Like, wow. I think this is the first NECA figure that can actually look up that high. He is looking up very, very high. But of course, if you do that, you expose this part right here of his mouth. And of course, he can look down. Now if you pull his head, I believe he can look even more down like that, which is fair enough. I think it has a lot of movement in his head. Obviously you can move his neck left to right. You can move it up as well to help it, to give it that more straight pose if you want it. Let's see, for his fingers, you guys can see he has movement right here. He can open it, close it, Now the articulation might be hard to move right now because I told you it's very hard right now to move every single part of his body, since the ball joints are very fresh, and I really don't want to risk breaking it or making this figure loose, even more loose. So you guys get the idea. I'm just going to show you guys all the articulation that I can at the moment. If I don't show everything, that's because I really don't want to risk it, like I told you guys. For his legs, you can open that far, close. You can go back this far. You can move them left to right. No articulation here, I believe. It's very hard to move. Let's try out this one. This one's so, but it's not the best. Now, you have some type of articulation right here. He cannot go down that much, but he can go left to right. As for his tail, you guys know that his tail is very articulated. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, I believe. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces that are articulated. 6 ball joints, if you want to call it like that, or they're separated in parts. It's very long, and I think it is the best tail that we have ever seen on a NECA figure, as I told you guys before. So you guys can do multiple poses, as you guys can see. All the poses that you can get them in. Now, when it comes down to how accurate this guy is to the movie, I would say he's 50-50. It's 50 because it depends on which scene you're watching him from the movie. Now, something that I really don't like is how this part looks of his mouth. This part right here, I think this is something that NECA has to work next. I think they have definitely finally nailed the tail articulation, but the next step that NECA has to perfect even better is the way the jaw opens. In a lot of their figures, there's a problem where when they open their jaw, you have the under jaw coming out even more than the top one, and it should be the opposite. The top one should be coming out more than the bottom one. When it closes, of course, that problem is gone. Here's what I'm talking about. I'll do a close-up. So it looks perfect like that, right? But as soon as you open it, this piece right here is coming out even more. So this part has to be pushed back even further, or they have to engineer this part to have better articulation. Another problem that other figures had was, of course, GMK. If you guys look at GMK, he has the same problem right here. Just look at that. When he opens his jaw, it's coming out even more. When he closes it, it's perfect. So that is a problem that I do believe they have to fix. The only one that actually got this right was Godzilla 2014. You guys can see that Godzilla 2014 looks perfectly fine. I don't think he has any problems with that at all. You guys can see his jaw opens really good. He looks good. It closes. It looks perfect. Another problem that I had with this in the past, was with my Burning Godzilla, and just check this out. Right now, it looks perfectly fine, or somewhat fine, because in the past, it was coming out even more all the way right here, and you guys can see the problem already. His jaw broke on me, because I remember when I got him, his jaw was like that. It was coming out like that, and it did not look good. So I messed with it, and yeah, it definitely broke, and that's something that I'm not proud of. I think NECA should definitely do a better job with the jaw articulation and the way they designed the jaw. I think this was another problem. Look at how thin this tail is and very short compared to this one. Just look at that. There's a big difference right there when it comes down to the tails. Yes, you can see. So definitely the tail is an improvement. The next part that I would like them to improve is the jaw, for sure. They definitely have to improve the jaw, and I think if they can add more articulation and make their figures more accurate, I think NECA is going to be set. And I told you guys since last year, NECA told me that they were going to step up their figures, add more effects, add more articulation, make better quality figures, and we finally have boxes like I told you. And that's something else that I want to compare. Now, next thing that I wanted to compare is the boxes. This is their old style boxes. This is their brand new boxes that they're going to be coming out for the future, as well as Godzilla King of the Monsters with a brand new design. It's not going to have this red and black design. It's going to carry the logo from Godzilla King of the Monsters. You guys can see this is much bigger. It doesn't look creative. It has the Bandai Godzilla design and all that. This is much unique. You guys can see that there's a massive difference when it comes to the background. Obviously this one has the GMK, this one has the 62 design, but I much prefer boxes than this right here. This is too big. It's also sharp. I do prefer the boxes, and I'm very glad that NECA is finally able to do customized boxes like this. It looks very beautiful, something to keep in your collection because it has the poster from the movie with the actors and all that. I personally haven't seen this movie. I've seen parts, but I haven't seen the full movie, if you understand that. Now, something else that I did want to compare is the effects. I know that most of you might be thinking, are the effects the same from Godzilla, GMK, and the 62? So I have the effects right here, and you guys can see they are not the same effect. This is the GMK effect right here. Just to give you guys an idea how it looks alone. This is the 62. You guys can see it's curved. It has more like flame type of spikes to it, and a translucent white with some brush white to it right here. It's a clear white with brush white, if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So comparing both of them, so you guys can get an idea of how they look. Now both of them look very good and all that. Just to give you guys an idea of how they are applied, they don't use any stands like the SH Monster Arts. You just open their jaw, and I don't know which way it goes. Does it go this way or this way? It looks like it goes this way because of the way the effect is done. I don't think it goes this way, but either way, I think both ways look perfectly fine. So on top, well, let me see if I can show you guys. So around right here, there's like a hole where you plug in the effect, and both the GMK and the 62 have this method right here. So all you got to do is do this, close the jaw, and the only down part about this is that the effect is kind of heavy. So if you have them in a pose like this looking up, this is what will happen. The effect will kind of fall off, and it could, I mean, it might make your head loose over time. This is not 100% confirmed. It hasn't happened to my GMK. The way the GMK works is the same method. So there you go. That's how both of them look. Now, does the GMK effect fit on the 62? Let's find out. So let me see. So both of them appear to have different ways to enter the mouth. You guys can see they are designed totally different, so I doubt it, but let's give it a chance. Yeah, I told you guys it's not going to stay that well. This is how it looks at the moment. It doesn't look that bad. It actually looks good, but it's not secure. You guys can see it's kind of loose. It's not meant to fit on the 62. Now let's try on the GMK. Nope, let's try this way. This is how the GMK does look. It fits the opposite way, but it's of course not that well secure. It's kind of wiggly. Same for the 62. Now let's try it this way, I believe. Let's try both ways for the 62. So if it's like this for the 62, there's no problem with it. Now let's try the other way, just in case you guys want to display him anyway. There you go. I think I noticed something different with this. Hold on, guys. Oh, never mind. I thought the head didn't fall the opposite way. But yeah, the effect looks really good. This white effect with the brush paint job over it looks really good. I don't have anything to complain that much about this figure. The only down part, of course, is what I told you guys. The plastic right here that was cut in his deformed hand that I got, and that's about it. I think this figure is fantastic. I think they have definitely outdone themselves with all their NECA figures. I think this is the best NECA figure we can possibly have today. Of course, Godzilla King of the Monsters will be more updated, and Godzilla 2019 is confirmed to feature the same articulated tail as the 62. It's not going to have the same bendy wire as the 2014. No, it's going to have a full articulated tail, brand new things that we haven't seen before. Even though people think it's a repaint, resculpt, it is not a resculpt or repaint figure. It is 100% new, with new articulation, a new box. And I know people are not a fan of the box and all of that, because the box art did came out and a lot of people were complaining about it, but I'm not complaining. It's better than the old style box, and I think NECA is finally listening. NECA is stepping up their game to SH Monster Arts and other companies. Of course, the price did go up, as I told you guys. I told you guys since last year that the price might increase to $30, $25, $29, and I was correct on that. I told you guys we will see more figures with more effects. I was correct with that. The 2014 obviously did not have an effect. The 2019 Godzilla for King of the Monsters will feature an effect, and that is the Atomic Blast. All their figures will feature brand new boxes like this one right here, with brand new stands and extra things like the larva for Mothra, her stand with the cocoon. Rodan will feature the exploded volcano and all that as a base. So we're going to see a lot of good things with NECA, and I'm very happy. NECA, thank you so much for making this video possible. I think you have done a very good job with this figure. If there's any feedback that you can take from this video is be more careful with quality control on your figures, and please fix the jaws for the figures, because this is definitely a problem for a lot of people. If you want to pose him like in a just like in a pose like that with him rolling, or just him like screaming and all that, a lot of people are not going to like this because of the way his jaw is. It looks better like that, and I'm sure a lot of people don't want to display him like that and all that, but I'm sure NECA can do a lot better. I'm sure NECA can offer maybe buildings, tanks. Even though we can buy tanks, it is definitely a plus for them. It wouldn't hurt for them to add even more things. There's enough space in this box and in the King of the Monsters boxes, because they are a little bit bigger, to add tanks, jets, the Arco plane, buildings. Anything is welcome. It's not going to hurt NECA. Don't be afraid to try out new things for the fans. Don't be afraid to ask fans if they want to see brand new things in their figures. Go for it. And it never hurts to experiment with brand new things, and I think you have accomplished that with your tails right here. It is an achievement over time and over the years. You guys were testing out different tails, and this is a test that shows that yes, you can try out different things, and if you keep on trying and you keep on failing, at the end of the day, the perfect one will come. And I'm sure that someday your figures will be very accurate to the movie, with great details, great articulation, almost to the SH Monster Arts for a better price, much cheaper. And we all want NECA to succeed. We all want to see a lot of good NECA figures from the classic Toho, and of course from Godzilla King of the Monsters. I know that you guys feel sorry about that. Let me take a sip because of my jaw. Should I say my throat? I know that NECA is kind of pressure right now with the King Ghidorah or Ghidorah figure, and if they don't want to do it, you guys have to respect their decision. But if they ever do it, it's welcome. In a 6-7 inch size, it doesn't really have to be 10 inches, 9 inches, which is one Ghidorah, and that's it. It will be welcome. Now, the only other complaint that I do have with them is if you take a closer look at his feet right here, you can see that the original color was much better than the color applied on top of it, on top of the nails on his feet. So I don't understand why they cover up the original color. It looked much better. You guys can see there's even more details. And this brand new white type of color is covering the grayish type of brownish wash that I had. So I'm here wondering, why would they cover a even better paint job with a white? And you guys can see it's with every single one of them. You can see that the original color was underneath, and then they just painted it over with a white. And I believe it's the same thing for his nails or his claws on his hands. But overall, I think this figure is a really good figure. I would rate this figure a 9.1. It is close to being perfect with the brand new articulation on the tail. It is always welcome. I think this is one of the top best NECA figures out there, if not second to first, on top of this one right here. This one right here is the king. But I honestly do enjoy this figure, even though I'm not really a fan. I think the figure itself is really good. It's close to being perfect. I think NECA has done a fantastic job with the articulation, the details, and everything. It's very close to being perfect, but you know, it has a few flaws here and there. But of course, not every figure is going to be perfect. Of course, the brand new box is welcome and everything with the brand new design. It looks very beautiful. So yes, I do recommend this figure. If you're at Target or whatever, pick this figure up. You're not going to be disappointed. It's very accurate. It's very well done with a lot of articulation and a nice paint job. And I hope they do experiment later on with more buildings, tanks, jets, effects, and multiple things. I hope that NECA isn't afraid to ask for feedback with the fans, and I hope they actually listen to the fans, because fans are very hardcore when it comes to Godzilla, and I think this is a very loved franchise and figure as a whole. All the figures are very loved, and I'm sure NECA can make a lot of fans happy and themselves if we all work together as one. NECA has been very good. They always answer back messages. They always give feedback and all that. And I do hope in the near future to see Ghidorah and other kaijus or the other titans. I do hope, because they did tell me that they have another figure in secret. We don't know if it's a brand new titan or if it's actually Ghidorah. But right now, there's no plans for Ghidorah. Overall, guys, this is a very good figure. I do recommend. So thank you guys for watching this review, and I hope you guys enjoy. And thank you, NECA, for making this fantastic figure. NECA should actually sponsor me. Like, I would love to have a sponsor with NECA. If anyone from NECA is watching this, definitely sponsor me. I would love to promote your guys' figures in my page and YouTube and all of that. Maybe do a giveaway with a lot of fans and all that, because my page is big. So if you guys want to do like a sponsor with me, contact me in the comments down below, or I'll leave my email and all of that. But other than that, this is a fantastic figure, and I do recommend this figure over most of them. And I hope that NECA only learns from their mistakes, and that they actually improve upon their figures as time goes by. Thank you guys for watching.